Have you ever stood on a beach, feeling the sand between your toes, and thought how solid and permanent it all seems? Pods. What if I told you that entire beach could vanish overnight? It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but it's a very real phenomenon happening on coastlines all around the world. Imagine going to sleep with the sound of waves lapping against a wide, sandy shore and waking up to find the ocean crashing directly against a seawall, the beach completely gone. This isn't magic. It's the raw, untamed power of nature at work. Powerful ocean tides, combined with the sheer force of violent storms, can literally erase a coastline in a single night. Descend. You walked on isn't destroyed, it's moved. Ocean currents act like massive conveyor belts, picking up millions of tons of sand and depositing it somewhere else. Sometimes miles away offshore, sometimes along a different part of the coast. What we perceive as a fixed, stable landmark is actually in a constant state of flux, a dynamic, ever-changing environment. These dramatic coastal shifts are a stark reminder of just how fragile our world is. They show us how powerful forces, like climate patterns and ocean dynamics, are continuously redrawing the very map of our planet. Let's dive deeper into this. The process is called coastal erosion, and while it's a natural process, human activities and climate change are accelerating it at an alarming rate. Think about a storm surge. When a major storm, like a hurricane, approaches land, it brings with it not just powerful winds and heavy rain, but also a massive bulge of water. This surge can raise sea levels by several feet, or even more, in just a few hours. When this wall of water hits the coast, it acts like a bulldozer. The energy of the waves is immense, and they churn up the sand, pulling it back out to sea as the storm retreats. A single powerful storm can remove more sand than years of normal tide cycles. In places like the Outer Banks of North Carolina or parts of the Louisiana coast, residents have witnessed this firsthand. Houses that once stood a safe distance from the water now teeter on the edge of collapse, their foundations exposed by the retreating shoreline. Iconic lighthouses, built to be far inland, have had to be physically moved to save them from being swallowed by the sea. This isn't just about losing a pretty place to sunbathe. It's about losing homes, infrastructure, and entire communities. The disappearance of beaches is just one piece of the puzzle. We also see collapsing cliffs, like the famous White Cliffs of Dover in England, or the dramatic coastlines of California. These cliffs are made of softer rock and sediment. Over time, waves relentlessly undercut the base of the cliffs. Little by little, the support is eroded away until, eventually, the weight of the cliff above becomes too much, and a huge section shears off and crashes into the sea. This process, known as mass wasting, can happen suddenly and without warning, reshaping the coastline in an instant. So, why is this happening more frequently and more dramatically now? The primary driver is rising sea levels. As global temperatures increase, glaciers and ice sheets melt, pouring vast amounts of fresh water into the oceans. At the same time, the water in the ocean itself expands as it warms. This combination means the baseline sea level is higher than it was a century ago. A higher sea level means that storms can push water further inland. And normal high tides reach higher up the beach, eroding areas that were previously safe. It's like the ocean is getting a running start, making every wave and every storm more impactful. Another factor is the disruption of natural sand replenishment systems. Rivers have historically carried sediment from inland areas down to the coast, naturally rebuilding beaches. However, the construction of dams and other river management systems has trapped a lot of this sediment upstream. The sand simply isn't reaching the coast anymore to replace what the ocean takes away. It's like a bank account where you're only making withdrawals and no deposits. Eventually, the balance hits zero. Coastal development also plays a huge role. When we build structures like seawalls, jetties, and groins to protect one area, we often inadvertently cause problems elsewhere. These hard structures interfere with the natural flow of sand along the coast. A groin, for example, is a wall built perpendicular to the shore to trap sand and build up a beach in one spot. But by trapping that sand, it starves the beach's downcurrent. So, while one community might enjoy a wider beach, their neighbors down the coast might see their beach disappear even faster. It's a classic case of solving one problem by creating another. The economic consequences of these disappearing coastlines are massive. Coastal tourism is a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States and globally. People flock to beaches for recreation and relaxation. When those beaches shrink or vanish, the hotels, restaurants, and shops that depend on tourist dollars suffer. Property values plummet. Insurance costs skyrocket. Entire local economies built around a beautiful shoreline can find themselves on the brink of collapse. In response, communities are trying to fight back, but it's an uphill battle against the ocean. One common method is beach nourishment. This involves dredging sand from offshore and pumping it back onto the beach to rebuild it. It's incredibly expensive, costing millions of dollars for just a few miles of coastline. And it's a temporary fix at best. The very same forces that took the sand away in the first place are still at work, and nourished beaches often need to be replenished every few years. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. Other solutions involve creating living shorelines. Instead of hard concrete walls, these projects use natural materials like oyster reefs, salt marshes, and mangrove forests to absorb wave energy and trap sediment. These ecosystems not only protect the coast, but also provide critical habitats for wildlife, improving the overall health of the coastal environment. While more sustainable in the long run, they aren't suitable for every location and require careful planning and long-term commitment. Ultimately, the phenomenon of the disappearing beach is a powerful, visible indicator of a planet in transition. It forces us to confront the reality that our environment is not static. The map is being redrawn, not by cartographers with pens, but by the immense forces of the ocean and the climate. Understanding how these coastal shifts work is the first step. We need to recognize that building right on the edge of a dynamic system like a coastline comes with inherent risks. The future of our shorelines depends on the choices we make today. Will we continue our Sisyphean struggle, pouring endless money into temporary fixes? Or will we adapt, embracing more sustainable, nature-based solutions and planning our coastal communities with the understanding that the line between land and sea is, and always will be, a shifting one? The next time you visit a beach, take a moment to appreciate its transient beauty. That stretch of sand is a temporary gift from the ocean, a fleeting landscape and the grand, powerful dance between water and land. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey into our planet's changing coastlines fascinating, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world around us. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen a beach change dramatically. See you in the next video.